morning everyone and welcome to Saturday Club. My name's Victoria. I hope that you've had a good week, and we're just starting a bit early like we always do to so that everyone has a chance to log on and join Saturday Club. So it's really good to see you all here, and I hope that you've had a good week. I've had a very busy week, but as you can see I managed to get my hair cut. And I'm very pleased because it's been a long time that I've needed a haircut, but I've now had a haircut. So hopefully you'll think my hair looks a lot tidier, but if you don't like it, don't tell me. So I hope you've had a busy week. We've had lovely weather this week, and now today it's raining. And I was going to do some gardening, but I'm not sure that I want to garden in the rain, but I really need to because those pesky weeds are growing up again. So maybe the rain will stop this afternoon and I will go out into the garden and deal with those weeds. So I know that some of you have done the craft that we had last week. I've got some crafts here. This is Jophiel's. He's cut everything out really, really neatly, and he's made his map to remind himself that God has a plan for him. And I'm wondering, I'm not sure whether he's put this in as a stream or whether he's put it in as the wibbly wobbly path from one house to another. And there are some mountains. I know that Joffio used to live in Switzerland, so I imagine that's why he's put the mountains in. And he's made different houses. So well done, Joffio. And then I had this one too. And this one's Kate's, his little sister. And she's done her own cutting out too, which is very impressive. So well done, Joffio and Kate. And I do like the way that the water is above the trees. So I suppose that maybe you're walking here and you've got the grass, and then you cross the river, and then you go through some woods, and then you get to the water. So that's really nice, Kate. And I've just noticed you've just cut one mountain out. That's very good. So well done, Kate. So it's nice to see your crafts every week, and yes, it helps me know that people are listening. So if you're listening, and you do the crafts, do send them to me. And remember, if you're listening and I haven't emailed the crafts out to you, you can always find them on my church website. The craft activities and the activity packs are always put on the church website, and also these videos get put on YouTube. So if you can't find them on Facebook, if you search for Providence Chapel Chichester on YouTube, then you'll be able to find these videos, and you'll also be able to find the live streams from our Sunday evening services, because at the moment our Sunday evening services are live streamed, although we are now meeting together in the morning. So so if you're able to join us on a Sunday evening in the live stream, it would be really good to have you there. Now I wonder who's watching today. Well, I can see that Gwen's watching. Hello, Gwen. And I've just got a message from Lizzie. That's quite okay, Lizzie. So that means that Josiah and Reuben and Joel are watching. Hello, boys. I wonder if you're going to be going out. I know you've got some very snazzy raincoats and things. I wonder if you're going to be going out and playing in the rain. And I wonder if your cousins Brandon and Jaden and Layla are watching. And then over in London, I don't know whether we've got Isaac, Daniel, Luke and Noah. It would be really good to know if you're still watching, boys. And then Finley and Bethany. You sent me a lovely picture the other week, Bethany, didn't you? And then I don't know if Scarlett and Gracie are down the road. And maybe there are other people in England watching too. And then maybe in Switzerland, I don't know if Michaela and Matthias are watching. Hello, it was your mum's birthday this week, wasn't it? And then Jamie and Emily. Don't know if you're still watching. I hope you're looking after your little sister Jamie. And then Jessie and her little sister Nina. Hello to you too. And then Nina, are you watching? And then Irina and Sonia and their cousin all the way in Indonesia, Michelle. We are an international bunch. And then in Luxembourg, I know Joffiel and Kate are watching because they've sent me their crafts. Thank you, Joffiel and Kate. And then in France, bonjour Luc, bonjour Julia, comment ça va? And then in Australia, hello Ryan. I have to shout because Australia is such a long way away from me. And then Paul in India. It's really good to know that there are people watching. And I do hope that you're enjoying Saturday Club. And today we're going to be starting to learn a new series of stories because we finished our series on Joseph and we're going to be finding out what happened next. But we've got a couple of more minutes before we start. I forgot to make a cup of tea, so I've got water today instead of my cup of tea. So my mug is empty, which is not much good. So yeah, we're going to start in a couple of minutes' time, and we've got a new song to learn, and we've got a new memory verse to learn, and we're going to be learning some new stories. So I'm really excited about this, and I'm trying to think what else I've done this week. I've been doing some crochet. I'm still working on this baby blanket. It's taking me a very long time, but the good news is the baby isn't coming until December, so I've got plenty of time to make the baby blanket in. And I had some chairs come this week. I wanted some more dining chairs so that if I have visitors, I have enough chairs for everyone to sit on. So I now have 4 dining chairs. So that means I can have up to 3 people visit me at one time, which would be nice when we're allowed to. So that was exciting. It was a great big parcel, and they left it on my doorstep, and I had to carry it in myself. It was really heavy. And then these chairs are special chairs that fold up and then open out. And they're so new that I need to buy some oil because I can't open them at the moment because they're too stiff. So if someone comes to see me just now, they'll have to help me open their chairs out so they can sit down. So that's something else I've been doing this week. I had 3 parcels come this week because I've also got some boxes to put my paperwork in, which is a very boring grown-up thing that you'll find out about when you're older and you're needing to sort out your paperwork. So that's what I'm doing this afternoon. So I'm sorting out my paperwork. So very exciting. So unless it stops raining, and then I'll go and garden instead. So that's what I'm doing today. And I wonder what you're going to be doing today. It's the summer holidays now. I know that all the schools are finished. So I hope you're having a nice time in the holidays. It must have been strange to go back to school and now school's stopped again. But yes, it's been a strange year so far, hasn't it? Right, well, it's 9:30 now, so we're going to start, and we're going to start by praying and asking God to be with us. So let's put our hands together and close our eyes. Dear God, thank you that you have kept us safe this week. Thank you that you have looked after us. Thank you for the sunny weather we've had, and thank you for the rain that is on the plants that need it so much. Please be with us in Saturday Club today. Please help us to learn more about you and more from your word, the Bible. Amen. Did you say a nice big loud amen? Amen. Now I've just realised I've done it again. I've left my Bible in the other room. So I'll be back in a second. There we go. Got my Bible. One Saturday I'll remember everything. So we're going to start off by singing our song that we sing. And our song is all about God, the first song that we sing every week. And it's My God is so big. My God is so big. So we're going to sing My God is so big, so strong and so mighty. You ready? Stretch your arms out wide because you're going to need to make a big sign. That's right. And then make some strong signs like that. Very good. Right. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. The rivers are his, the mountains are his, the stars are his handiwork too. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. And you know, we've been talking about how handiwork means something that you've made, and how that means that God made the stars and the rivers and the mountains and everything that we can see. And this morning I was reading my Bible, and I was reading a psalm, and I read a verse that talked about how the heavens are the work of God's fingers. And that made me think that when I make something, if I'm making something big, if I'm putting some furniture together, I don't just use my fingers, I use my arms and I use my whole body, and sometimes I have to use my legs and my knees too. But God made all of those stars. Now God is a spirit, so he doesn't have fingers, but what the Bible is telling us, that it was an easy thing for God to make all of the stars that are in the night sky, the ones that we can see and the ones that we can't see, because God is so big and so great. Right, we're going to learn our memory verse now, and here it is. I hope your mum and dad were able to print it out, and it's got a couple of difficult words in it this week, but I'm going to explain them to you. So it says, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. And whosoever means whoever, anyone. And committeth means to commit or to do. So it's saying whoever does sin, whoever sins, is the servant of sin. If you sin, then you are the servant of sin. And in some other translations it says the slave of sin. And we're going to be thinking about how some people are slaves today. And that's from John chapter 8 verse 34. And it's something that Jesus said. And we've got some actions to go with it. And for whosoever, because it's a long word, we're going to get up one finger like this and we're going to go whosoever. Can you say that? Do that. Whosoever committeth sin. And for sin, we stick our little finger out. We learnt the other week that this is a symbol for bad. And then we're going to get our palm out and we're going to bang our little finger on our palm twice. So sin is the servant, and we're going to make a whip sound like a servant, the servant of sin. Should we do that again? Whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. And we'll do that one more time because someone sent me a message on my phone in the middle of that. Are you ready? Whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. And that comes from John chapter 8 verse 34. Now we're going to play a game. We're going to play a game that I expect some of you know, and it's called Simon Says. So you're probably going to need to stand up. So I'm going to move my chair out the way so I can stand up. There we go. And if I say Simon Says, then you have to do whatever I say. So we'll start with an easy one. Simon says, clap your hands. Simon says, stop. Simon says, reach up to the ceiling. On your toes, that's right. And your hands going up in the air. Simon says, come back down. Simon says, jump up and down. Simon says, stop. Simon says, bend down and touch your toes. Simon says, stand up. Simon says, touch your nose. Simon says, touch your ear. Simon says, put your other finger on your nose and touch your other ear. Very good. Simon says, stretch your arms out wide. I need to be careful I don't hit the wall. Simon says, come back normally. Simon says, turn around. Keep on turning. Keep on turning. Keep on turning. Simon says, stop. Oh, I'm feeling a bit dizzy. Simon says, sit back down again. Now, it's fun to play a game like Simon Says, and if you were in the room with me, we could take it in turns, and you could tell me what to do. But if I made you do something that you didn't really want to do, it wouldn't be fun, would it? If I'd made you jump up and down and up and down and up and down and hadn't let you stop for hours and hours, that wouldn't be fun. Or if Today it's a nasty rainy day where I am. If I'd said to you, you've got to go outside in the rain and you've got to dig up all of the weeds from my garden, that wouldn't be fun, would it? Or if I said to you, you've got to work and work and work and never get your toys out, that wouldn't be fun. And today we're going to learn about how God's people, the Israelites, had to do lots of things they really, really didn't want to do. But before we learn about that, we're going to sing a song, and it's a new song we're going to learn. Now I wonder, you probably can't read the little writing that I've done, but I wonder if you can recognise the big writing. Who can tell me what I've written out in these big green letters? It's the alphabet. Although I'll tell you something, there are 2 U's in this alphabet. There's one there and there's one there, because it's a song and we need 2 U's to make it rhyme. In the real alphabet there aren't 2 U's, but it is the alphabet in the right order. And what we do when we sing it is we say the letters of the alphabet and then we sing a verse about Jesus and what he's done for us, and then we have more letters of the alphabet, and it goes like this: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Jesus died for you and me. H, I, J, K, L, M, N, gave his life for sinful men, amen. O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, I believe the Bible's true. U, V, W, God has promised you. X, Y, Z, a home ahead. And this amen here, we don't just say amen, we need to say it nice and loud because we really agree with it. We need to say amen. So I'll sing it and then maybe we'll sing it again and you can join in. A, B, C, D, F, G, Jesus died for you and me. H, I, J, K, L, M, N, gave his life for sinful men, amen. O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, I believe the Bible's true. U, V, W, God has promised you. X, Y, Z, a home ahead. Right, we'll sing it again. And even if you haven't learned all the words, when we get to the amen, see if you can join in with a big loud amen. Are you ready? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Jesus died for you and me. H, I, J, K, L, M, N, gave his life for sinful men, amen. O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, I believe the Bible's true. U, V, W, God has promised you. X, Y, Z, a home ahead. Right, we're going to be singing that song, and it's a song that I learnt when I used to go onto the beaches, and I used to teach children about God on the beaches when they were on their summer holiday. And they can't do that this year, but I thought it would be a good one to sing because it explains how Jesus died for us, because we are sinners, and that if we believe in Jesus and believe the Bible, God has promised us that he will give us a home in heaven. Right, now in Saturday Club, all of our stories come from this book. They come from the Bible, and that was why I had to go and get my Bible so that I could read part of it to you. Now, can you remember how many books are in the Bible? I'll give you a clue. I'll pick up my book of the Bible chart. Make sure I get it the right way up. There's definitely more than 10, isn't there? There's definitely more than 10. In fact, I think there's more than 20. In fact, I think there are more than 30. That's right, there are 66 books in the Bible, but they tell one big story, the story of God's plan to send Jesus. And today's story comes from the second book of the Bible. So we've been having stories from Genesis, but now we're going to go down to the next book on the Bible on the list, the second book of the Bible, which is Exodus. And I'm going to read part of that story to you now. I'll get my Bible and I'll find my place in Exodus. Got a little sticky note in it. And I'm going to read from you right at the beginning of Exodus. Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah; Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin; Dan and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. Now, so far in Saturday Club, we've been learning about the life of Joseph. Do you remember Joseph was hated by his brothers, who sold him as a slave? He was taken to Egypt. He spent a long time as a slave and even in prison, but God was with him. At last Joseph became Prime Minister of Egypt, in charge of everything, apart from Pharaoh the king. When the famine came, Joseph took care of the Egyptians, and in the end his father and his brothers came to live with him in Egypt, and Joseph took care of them too. But eventually Joseph died, and all of his brothers, but their families kept on growing. Soon they weren't just a big family, they were a nation, the Israelites. Now, you belong to different nations. I'm English, I belong to the English nation. Some of you are Australian, you belong to the Australian nation. Some of you are, let me think. I think we've got some French people, you belong to the French nation. Some of you are from Indonesia, you're Indonesians. All different nations. And the Israelites had become a nation. It's a very big group of people, and they all came from one family. Now, at first, everyone in Egypt treated the Israelites well. They remembered everything Joseph had done for them in the famine, and they were grateful. But then there was a new king in Egypt. He hadn't known Joseph. He wasn't grateful. He thought about the Israelites, and he was scared. Why was he scared? He was the king of Egypt. Well, he was scared because there were more Israelites in Egypt than there were Egyptians. And the king of Egypt was worried that if ever there was a war, the Israelites might fight against the Egyptians and push them out of Egypt. So what do you think he did? He made the Israelites slaves. He put men in charge of them who were cruel to them and forced them to work hard. The Israelites had to make bricks and then use the bricks to build cities. But the more the Egyptians were cruel to the Israelites, the more the Israelites grew in number. The Egyptians started to get angry. They didn't want these Israelites to keep on growing in number, so they treated the Israelite slaves even worse than before. Then the king of Egypt did a dreadful thing. He spoke to the midwives, 2 ladies who helped the Israelite women when they were having babies, and he said to them, I want you to kill all the boy Israelite babies who are born. What a dreadful thing to do. The midwives loved God. They knew that this was a horrible thing to do. So they disobeyed the king of Egypt. And God was pleased with the midwives and gave them families of their own. But the king of Egypt was determined to get rid of all of the Israelites. So he gave orders to the Egyptians saying, every Israelite boy, baby boy, must be thrown into the river to drown. What a sad time it was for the Israelites. They were slaves in Egypt. They had to work really, really hard and were cruelly treated. And now all the boy babies which were being born were being taken away from them and thrown into the river to drown. The Israelites must have wondered, if God had forgotten them. But we know that God hadn't forgotten them because the Bible tells us that God was pleased with the midwives. So God knew what was happening. But why did God let this happen? God had a plan. Hundreds of years before, God had told Abraham, who was Joseph's great-grandfather, that his family would be badly treated in Egypt. But God had also promised Abraham that he was going to bring them out safely and give them a land of their own to live in. And God did this to make a picture for us in the Bible. The story of the Israelites in Exodus is a picture of God's plan to save sinners. At the start of Exodus, the Israelites were made into slaves. So what does that tell us about God's plan to save sinners? It tells us that we are all born slaves to sin. That's what our memory verse says. That whoever sins is the servant or the slave of sin. And we all sin because we are all born sinners. That's what the Bible tells us, that every single person who has ever lived, apart from Jesus, is born a slave to sin. But just like God had a plan to rescue the Israelites, God has a plan to rescue sinners. And we're going to be learning about that in Saturday Club. We're going to be learning from Exodus, and we're going to be learning about God's plan to save sinners. Now I want to see what you can remember from today's story, and I need to get my yes/no cards. They're over here. So we've got a no card, we've got a yes card. Are you ready? Which one's it going to be? Did the new king of Egypt know Joseph? Can you remember? Did he know Joseph? Or did he not know Joseph? Which one was it? That's right, he didn't know Joseph. He didn't know Joseph. And he wasn't grateful for what Joseph had done. Did the new king of Egypt and the Egyptians make the Israelites slaves and treat them cruelly? Did they do that? Or did they not do that? What do you think? They did. They made the Israelites slaves and treated them cruelly. Did the midwives love God and disobey the king of Egypt, making sure that they kept the boy babies alive? Did they do that? Yes. Or did they not do that? Have a think. They did. They loved God and they kept the boy babies alive. But sadly, the king of Egypt gave orders that all of the boy babies were to be drowned. Had God forgotten the Israelites? Had God forgotten them? Or had God not forgotten them? No, God hadn't forgotten them. God never forgets his people. God had a plan, and it was part of his plan. So that's our first story from Exodus. So we're going to pray and we're going to thank God that he has a plan to save sinners. So put your hands together and close your eyes. Dear God, thank you that you had a plan to save the Israelites from Egypt. Thank you that you have a plan to save sinners. Help us to learn more about your plan to save sinners. Amen. Did we get a nice loud amen? Can you say it again? Amen. Very good. Right, now I've got some craft for you to do. In your sheet you've got some bricks. I'm very proud of these bricks. I made them myself. I didn't make them out of straw and mud like the Israelites did. I made them on my computer, but I still made them myself. And my bricks spell out a message. They say, we are born slaves to sin. And what I would like you to do is I would like you to colour in the writing, maybe nice and colourful, and then colour in the bricks, maybe brown, because bricks are quite often brown because they're baked in the oven, and then carefully cut out all of the bricks and then stick them down. Now you can either stick them like I've stuck here to make a wall because the Israelites built cities, or you can do what I did when I made my craft. I made a pyramid because in Egypt there are pyramids. So I've made a pyramid, so it's hard for you to see. I'll hold it close. Can you see? I've coloured in my bricks with colouring crayons, and I've coloured my words in with felt tip pens, and it says we are born slaves to sin. And I've made a pyramid to remind me that just like the Israelites were slaves in Egypt, so we are all born slaves to sin, and that's a big problem. And we're going to be learning about how God deals with that big problem of us being slaves to sin. So that's your craft that I'd like you to do. And then if you're someone older, I've made you a little worksheet, a little puzzle and activity sheet. So there is a word search where you've got to find the names of Jacob and his sons that we read about in the Bible. There is a question from the Bible reading that we had. How many people in Jacob's family when they went to Egypt? And then on the back there is a puzzle to unscramble our memory verse about what the Bible says about us and what we're like when we sin. And then there's something to think about. How do we know from Exodus 1 that God had not forgotten his people, the Israelites? And there's a little clue there. If you're not sure, you can look it up in the Bible and then you can write your answer in the box, or you can get a grown-up to write it for you. So that's the activities that you can do this week. And maybe because it's the summer holidays, more of you will be able to do those activities. Now we're going to sing again, and we're going to sing a song that we've been learning over the last couple of weeks, all about how God has a plan for you. And it's God has a plan for you, something only you can do. Listen while he calls you by name. God has a plan for you, something only you can do. Listen while he calls you by name. You were in his plan before the world began, and he longs that you give your life to him. And that's very true. God has a plan for me and for you and for everyone in the world. And God calls us to come to him and put him in charge of our lives and say sorry for the wrong things that we've done and trust in Jesus to forgive us. But that also means that when we ask God what we should do with our life, and that's a very important lesson to learn. So it was really nice to see you this week, and I look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope that you have a lovely rest of the weekend and a good school holiday. Bye bye.